Well, good morning. So glad you could join us. Friday morning, not just any Friday morning. It is Veterans Day, a tip of the cap, a salute, a handshake to every man and woman who served out there. We have one out here today. Made a point to say thank you for not only coming out, but certainly thank you for serving. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. He said proud to serve. No doubt about that. Again, as Mr. Big Voice said, Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle and a very special guest, Macomb County Public Works Commissioner Candice Miller. First of all, Candice, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. Originally, I know we were supposed to have a conversation on the phone. It's great that you came out here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks. I'm delighted to be here. This place is fantastic, and we are so appreciative of WJR coming out and joining our great county executive on Veterans Day. And Macomb County has got so many veterans. In fact, we, for many years, I think it might still be, Mark would know this, I think we have the largest chapter of the Vietnam veterans in the country. Yeah, chapter 154.
And most people know there are 46,000 veterans make Macomb their home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge number. I mean, so when I say that number, people sometimes think, wait a minute, did you miscalculate that? No, 46,000 veterans live here in Macomb County alone.
Wow, that's awesome. You guys are very similar, although you have a different letter in front of your name. We were just talking about this earlier, Candice, before you got here. I think Mark has never been afraid to walk away and to call people out when he feels the need, and I think you've been the same, and perhaps that's why things are working the way they are in Macomb County?
We work very closely together. We've been referred to as the odd couple sometimes because he's the chief Democrat and I'm, the ranking Republican here. And but we really don't think in terms of, and we have our differences politically and some things, but I think we really are about competency in government. We both feel very strongly about that. And I think people react to that well in Macomb County. That's what they're looking for. They want things to get done. They don't want your partisanship to get in the way of good government here. And certainly at the county level, there are very few things where partisanship even has to come into play. So Mark and I talk every day about, I've got all my projects going on with the underground and everything that he's doing. And we try to think about, how we can work together for quality of life, for economic prosperity, all of these kinds of things. I mean, even we're talking here about veterans. Have been very involved with Selfridge Air National Guard Base over the years, and when I was in the Congress, I was one of the principal drivers for our arsenal of innovation, we call it now, arsenal of democracy, the whole defense corridor here. I mean, all of these things are so important to our quality of life, as we say, how we make our living here, and how we always think about our veterans and what they have done so that we can all sit here with, we look at them every day. I see these war fighters over at Selfridge, these intrepid men and women who put on the uniform every single day so proudly and, protect our liberty, our democracy, our freedoms. And when we hear those jets going over, Mark and I always say, that's the sound of freedom, and thank God it's one of ours.
Amen.
Yeah, she's been a champion for Selfridge for a long time. Obviously, born and raised in that area. Lake St. Clair is kind of in her backyard, but also Selfridge Air Base. And even when she was a supervisor of Harrison Township, I mean, that is in Harrison Township and the work she's always done. So this isn't something new to Candice and her support. In fact, she's kind of being humble here. She was actually given an incredible award on behalf of the folks over at Selfridge Air Base just recently at a ceremony out there. And so, obviously, having General Rogers, who will be on our show later on, he was there with the presenting that, and Ralph Mammon, who is now the base commander, and even Candice's former husband was a base commander out there at Selfridge.
Right.
So, Mr.
But they made me the honorary base commander at Selfridge, and I said to Rogers, does that mean I get to tell Mammon what to do?
Yeah, poor Mammon. He was like, okay, now who's my boss? Who's in charge here? But again,
fun.
Sean, the interesting thing we talk about, when we talk about politics, I mentioned earlier talking about, we need more people that don't just kind of reach across the aisle, that are willing to get in the aisle and have these conversations. And Candice, as she mentioned, her and I talk pretty much every day about issues and things that are going on, and sometimes politics. But for the most part, she is that type of person that's willing to get in the aisle and figure out how do we get things done. And so, it was the election day. Her and I were talking on the phone the whole thing as this is playing out. And even afterwards, we're trying to make an assessment as, okay, what just happened and how did that happen, right? So how do we help each other, get things done? If it's weighing heavy on the Democratic side or weighing heavy on the Republican side, we're still trying to figure out how do we reach out and make those connections so that we can still get the job done here in Macomb County.
That's right. It's all about, for us, it's about Macomb County. So, there's going to be a change in leadership in Lansing with the State House and the State Senate. And he has a few more connections now than I had in the past. But we worked, him and I, we will drive to Lansing often. And we advocate in person, right, for things that we need here in Macomb, whether he's been advocating for his projects at the jail or with the health department or, various road projects. Of course, I have all my underground projects, and, I expect that we will continue to do that and that they see it's a united front.
We have a few remaining seconds, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention this to everybody. You were a babysitter for our engineer, Ray Templin. Ray Templin played football, and for people that don't know, he's about 6'17" and about 295 pounds. And you were babysitting him, huh?
Well, I think you can blame his size on all those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches I used to have to make for him when he was just a little river rat brat running around North Star Sail Club with the rest of his family. No, he's a great guy. Comes from a great family.
Oh, great stuff. Candice Miller, continued success, the Macomb County Public Works Commissioner. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Paul W. Smith Show.
Thanks so much.
All right.